Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, hey God.
Good morning.
I forgot I had my sound turned off when I was on the plane yesterday.
Good morning. You missed the first frog. I hadn't spoken this morning. It sounded really strange.
I did, so it was a good thing I had the volume off. Is that what you're telling me?
Sorry about the rest of your ear.
How's everybody doing this beautiful Saturday morning?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to jump on and say hi this morning. I have to go to the funeral, so I'm just going to be on here for just a little bit.
Well, it is good to see you. Do you want to give us your win and your challenge before you go?
Well, I didn't really think about it. I'm sure there's some. Well, yeah, my challenge is, I guess, getting offers in quickly enough, or getting my clients that want me to put offers in to do it more quickly, because we had 2 properties go pending. The one we put the offer in, and that was a highest and best, and that whole situation I talked to you about on that one. The agent I spoke to said that they talked with another agent, like from another brokerage, and they were going to take it off the market and relist it at a higher price. And then the very next day it went pending. And I was
like, yeah, that was
I said, hey, I saw that went pending. I just want to make sure, I guess everything worked out okay with it. And then she reached back out and she said, well, what happened was we were getting ready to relist it at a higher price, but the other buyer gave us a higher number for it. And I was like, okay. If we didn't have the right price, we didn't have the right price, but just, you can say, sorry, we took the other offer or something like that, I guess. So I don't know. And a win is, I felt really good. A lot of stuff's been going well this week, really. I don't know. I do have, did I tell you that I had the lady call me back? I don't know if I was the lady that was calling, leaving messages all the time about a abandoned property.
No.
Yeah, she did. I was showing a house and the phone rang and I answered it, and she said, are you the one that keeps leaving me messages? And I said, well, I could be. It depends on what it's about. And she said, oh, the house on Broadway. I said, oh yeah, that's me. I said, I have people that are interested in it, if you guys are the owners, or you can get me in touch with them, if they were wanting to sell it. And she was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. She goes, well, I wasn't going to call you back, but yeah, I think maybe we should talk about this. So we have an appointment to discuss here in a couple of weeks. So she wants
Very cool. See, the phone calls work.
Yeah. So we're trying. We're trying them. So.
Good job. Well, dear, I will make sure this is recording. So I just checked to make sure it's recording, so I can send it to you, because we're going to go through the MOJO here in a little while. And I don't want to miss out on that.
I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here and finish getting ready to go down there. And then I will see you guys Monday morning.
Thanks for seeing us today. Have a good weekend after the funeral. I'm sorry about that. No fun.
Have a good day too. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, who's next? Who has a win and a challenge? And I am going to disappear from the frame just a minute because I have to grab my paper. I'll be right back. I talk though, I can hear you.
I'll do a win real quick and a challenge. It's Renata. Hello.
Hello. I'm glad
I am at work, so I'm gonna just kind of tune in and listen. But I will say, sorry about that. Okay. I will say, I'm gonna start with my challenge first. My challenge is that I had a very dear person die that was really close to me, so it was really rough the last couple of weeks, and the snow and everything else, and just transitioning from to a newer role. And the good thing is I'm back, so that's my whole challenge and good thing in one piece. That's it.
We're happy to have you back.
Thank you. Rough.
Figure out how to make this work in your new role.
Yep. Such is life. You know how it is. You just have to keep on moving like water.
Yes. All right. Who else has a win and a challenge?
I'll go.
Oh, go ahead.
You want to go? I'll go. You go.
Go ahead.
My win was I had a couple closings this week that were pretty cool, and then I had a challenge along with it as well. With the loan officer, but we were able to make that a win and solve that as well. My challenge is, my other challenge plus win is the fact that You know, even though I told Carla, even though I looked out the window and I saw a sign that said I was a PC rookie of the thing, of the coaching thing, I was like, hooray. But as I backed out my driveway and looked left and looked to my right, I noticed that there was a sign in somebody else's yard that said for sale. And that really smacked me right in the face and said, you know what? I can't be patting myself on the back and congratulate myself when somebody 2 doors down has a sign in their yard and it's not mine. So
Wow.
that was the reality check to say, hey, you know what? I need to go out here and really hit the pavement and do some door knocking. So my win was to say I'm a go out here and I'm challenging myself. And I think there's like 60 homes right here where I'm at. I'm a door knock every last one of them so that I don't miss out on this opportunity again to really say that, I'm a PC coaching agent of Keller Williams and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because there really was and they got the house listed for like 270. And I know I talked to this guy. It's like, you know what? If my own community doesn't know that I'm a realtor, something is wrong. So that's my win and my challenge, that I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna hit this little area real hard this next few days with some kind of correspondence, communication, a flyer, my cards. I might, pass out masks or something, but I'm gonna figure it out. But I'm gonna let everybody know over here that I'm the agent that they should be calling. So that was my win and my challenge.
That's good.
I love Jay. My favorite thing about that is Jay has turned his challenge into a win. So how many of you, if you backed out your driveway and your neighbor had somebody else's sign in the yard, would feel like a kick in the gut?
Absolutely.
How many of you think that you would be able to turn that around to what Jay has turned it into to a win? That's what we have to do, right? We have to turn those things around to learning opportunities and a win. There is you've heard me say this before. The only way not to fail is what?
To quit trying.
Not to try, right? If we don't try, we won't fail, but we won't move forward. So we want to fail forward. And that's exactly what Jay did, right? So we're going to go over MOJO here a little bit, and hopefully that's going to help as well. Because once you door knock, once you tell them you're a realtor, then what do you have to do?
Follow up.
Everything.
You have to remind them on a regular basis, because they will forget about you. I personally think that you guys are all very, very important, but I'm not sure that the rest of the world puts you at quite the high level of esteem that I do. So we have to remind them on a regular basis, right? And that's what so Jay, when you door knock, you can say, I understand, you could say, what we've been talking about. This is as close as you're ever going to get to your name your price market, right? This is as close as you're ever going to get probably. But I understand if you wouldn't want to sell, but would you like to keep in touch with what's going on in the neighborhood and what your home might be worth, to track your value, to track your wealth, right? So I've got something really cool I can send you, right, Jay? What is that?
CMA.
Or just the neighborhood nurture.
This is my information to get over there to see it.
All you have to do is then when you come back home, while you're there, I've got something really cool I'd like to send you. Let me make sure I have your email address, right? And while I'm at it, let me get your phone number, right? And then I'm going to send you something really cool, and then I'm going to check in and see what you thought of it, and then send them the neighborhood nurture. Put them on a neighborhood nurture smart plan. Okay. And then every month they are going to get reminded that you're a realtor, and they're going to see what's going on in the neighborhood. And then they can't forget about you. So don't forget about your smart plans, because that's your leverage, and that's how you stay in front of people. Okay, who is got another win and challenge for me?
My challenge has been opportunities, but I spoke with Carla about this yesterday, and going to turn that into a win next week. And my win was that I had my first non-team closing last night.
Yay, it closed yesterday.
Last minute.
Awesome.
So I had to drive up to Fort Wayne on a moment's notice. Whoa. But it's all good. People were happy. It's a guy I used to work with at Verizon, and they've been trying to get into a home for years. And I was happy to help them make that happen. So
that is so exciting. Congratulations, Mr. Woods. I love that your Zoom says Mr. Woods.
Thanks.
So opportunities, what Kenneth was talking about with opportunities. Everybody tell me somebody tell me what is an opportunity in your command? When do you make an opportunity in command?
When you've made contact and that they have showed interest in purchasing.
Or selling, right?
Yeah.
And it's either they may say, you know what, I do, but I have a lease and it's not up until November. But maybe in November I'd look at buying, right? That's an opportunity. If they tell you, yeah, you know what, I haven't even given it any thought. I don't know, maybe someday. That's an opportunity, right? And if they say, yes, I need to sell right now, that's an opportunity, right? An opportunity is any chance that you have to make money. And consider your opportunities. That's your pipeline, right? When you put them in an opportunity, they're going into that funnel that you see all the time in training. And if you look, once you make them an opportunity, in the first stage, there is watch, nurture, and hot. Those are the 3 levels. So watch, that is my extra loving bucket. These are the people that we have to remind all the time, all the time, all the time. We have to stay in contact with them repeatedly because they already have a seed planted in their brain about buying or selling. And we want to make sure that when they're ready to go, it's us, because they will use the agent that is closest to them, meaning the one that they most recently heard from. That's what top of mind means. So you put these people in your opportunities, and then you set a time on your calendar for follow-up. And follow-up is, in my calendar would say, well, it's follow-up Friday, and then I'd have loving on pipeline blocked out. And my pipeline, my loving on pipeline block on my Fridays was when I went out and checked their Facebook and seen what was going on, what's going on in their life. Can I write them a note? Can I send them a card? Do I just shoot them a text? Hey, I'm thinking about you, whatever that might be. So they need to be in a smart campaign. They need to be on a smart plan, but they also need personal attention, right? We don't leave it that to just smart plans and Kelly to keep in contact with them. We have to be intentional with those people. Now think about this. It's going to calculate for you on the right-hand side, potential and probable income. And for those of you that on Rhonda Roberts' team that don't use command, I'm sure that your CRM has a pipeline in it. So the language might be different. And you may have to run a pipeline on a spreadsheet, but it's the same concept, right? We want to identify the people that we need to love on most, that we want to stay in contact with. And then we need to track our numbers. Some of you guys have already heard this question, but do you think that Walmart has projected sales for the rest of the year? Yeah. Do you think that most successful businesses have projected their income for the rest of the year based on what they have right now and what they've done in the past? Now, most of you can't project based on what you've done in the past because you're a new or newer agent, right? But you absolutely can look at what you have in your pipeline and project that income out for yourself. And that's what opportunities does. You'll see that over on the right-hand side where it says probable and potential. Potential is everything you put in there. Probable uses conversion ratios from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the MREA. And eventually, if you use it consistently, the artificial intelligence smart plan, that's Kelly, will eventually start calculating your conversion ratios, but you have to use it for that to work for you. So make sure you go back and you think, you guys are making great contacts. You're talking to people. Did I make an opportunity for these people? Do I have them identified as potential earning? Do I have them identified as somebody I need to love on? So ask yourself that question. And thank you, Kenneth, for sharing that so that I could get on my soapbox. Who's next?
I guess I will go next.
Um,
I guess
go ahead.
my win is that I got my my recertification or whatever it's called for my daycare that I was working on this week from the paths of quality. So that's my win for this week. So I have that done and over with. So now I can get back to my real estate things. I am still working on my commercial listings. So it is still in the works. So I spoke with the buyer on Friday. So they should have the paperwork and ready to make the offer Wednesday or Thursday. So that's
Yay!
together.
Awesome.
So I guess that's still a win. And the challenge is that I'm having surgery next week. So I guess it's a challenge, but I plan, since I will be down that week, I plan to make a whole lot of phone calls. So I will be learning the MOJO thingy so I can make calls while I'm down. So I plan to use my time wisely. So since I can't be out and about, I plan to just make calls.
I love that. Sometimes we get gifts, right? We get gifts. We can't do other things that might distract us. So it'll help us like focus on our one thing.
So I'm thinking about, I'm gonna do 40 calls a day.
You go,
Calls
girl.
a day, I love that.
That's awesome. You go,
I'm
girl.
not all day. So I plan to do 2 hours of training. So I'm gonna catch up on some training. So 2 hours of training and 4 hours of lead gen.
Love that. And that'll be fun. And what I want you to tell us after you've done that, I want you to tell us how many opportunities you added to your command after you do that, because that is the measure, right? So we have to have opportunities before we have appointments.
Yes.
And then we have to have appointments before we have clients and contracts and closing. So absolutely. All right, who's next?
I'll go next. I still have my customer up in Anderson. I just keep getting thrown at challenges trying to get the floor done, and also trying to get everything done paperwork wise. I had the loan officer yesterday wanted an amendatory clause. And so I'm I'm trying to guess which clauses. So I posed her the question, and I got what I thought might have been the right answer, which was FHA amendatory clause. So because our customer's FHA. I got that in. I talked to the other realtor and that kind of thing. So yesterday morning, I lost my appointment that I had on a for sale by owner. They got listed by another agent they actually signed. So that kind of bummed me out a little bit. So now I'm kind of struggling. I struggled yesterday with a little bit of procrastination, but I'm going to make for sale by owner calls today until I get an appointment. So that's going to be how I'm going to overcome it. I think she froze on us.
Did she say she was getting on a plane?
No,
Is
she's
anyone-
already there.
Yesterday, she was on a plane.
Yeah. Well, Armand, I would say, that's a good thing to do. You should go ahead and still try to get back on that horse and keep on.
Yeah, there you go.
And do some calls. We all gotta start, trying to uplift each other and keep on pushing forward.
Well, and Armand, I think that's one of the things I'm starting to learn that I really got to overcome is I've just got to make calls.
Yeah.
So and I think that's, I'm still trying to I work on my database and stuff, but it's I know I'm getting ready to transition to where I've just got to get after it and just,
right.
And I think, and I don't know, I know I'm I cannot be successful until I overcome that. So
And that's how I feel. I don't like making calls. I don't want to make calls, but I'm okay, since I'm going to be down, what else am I going to do? Make these calls. I have a lot of buyers and I don't have any homes, so I need to try to find some homes for them.
Yeah.
So I'm okay, let me try to be.
Calling is the hardest thing to do for everybody. Everybody has a hard time calling.
Okay. All right. Good. It's not just me.
Yeah. And that's
like calling.
I'm kind of more of I won't say in your face things. So that's why I say I'm gonna challenge myself to just go knock on the doors. Because I can procrastinate, like you said, not call. But if I challenge myself to knock on somebody's door, once I get outside and start walking around, I gotta do something. So that's why I'm gonna try to do that. And then maybe come back home and do some phone calling.
Yeah.
Break that whole thing.
And I don't know why it's almost harder to call people you know. Like if I was calling a list of people I didn't know, I think it would be easier. I feel like, it's like, I don't want people to feel like I'm just working, like people I know, just working them for like an Amway lead or something. I do truly want to help them find a house. If they're looking, I really want to help them find a house. So I'm really hoping that that'll come through when I start to talk to people, but that's why I got to practice my scripts.
Yeah.
Well, but one thing, Johnny, to think about in terms of people you know, is that you don't have to make it a real estate conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can just say something like, when they ask you how you've been doing.
Real estate license.
You can just say something like in the conversation, you can just say, well, I'm doing great, except for this real estate thing is driving me buggy.
Yeah, because I can't, there's a ton of buyers out there and no houses. I'm trying to find people who want to sell their house, and maybe that'll jog them.
We're better. Did you guys miss me? Sorry about that.
Yes. We feel
I obviously in a different location than normal. Just so you don't, hopefully it doesn't happen again, but I am in Florida, packing up a house today. So I have different internet. So I apologize for that. But Joni, here's another thing. You can always say this, right? I am doing great. And you know what? I'm just so worried because I feel like I need to talk to everyone and make sure they know what's going on in this market right now. And I'm worried that I'm missing people, right? So I wanted to make sure I didn't miss you.
Gotcha.
Right? Because this is as close as we're ever going to get to a name your price market. We need to get practice saying that over and over and over again, because that is the thing that is going to either get somebody's attention or at least inform them, right? All right, so what did I miss? Was Joni's challenge? What was Joni's win?
Oh, we hadn't gotten that far.
Okay. We got to celebrate wins. I felt like I was off for an hour because I was panicked trying to get back on.
Just Armand, I was just really complimenting him from his, he's just going to call for sell by owners until he gets an appointment. And I just was sharing that's one of trying to get over that hump. And I'm like, I have got to get over the hump or I'm not in the right job. I was just sharing, I feel like it's easier. I would be way more comfortable calling people I didn't know.
How many of you like calling people you don't know versus people you know?
Don't know.
Who would rather call people they know?
It really depends. It really depends. It's like my close people, I have no problem calling, but people who are just like acquaintances that might be in my contacts.
I'm just walking because I need
I have a
steps.
hard time.
Yes, I definitely think I'm with you there, Anne. The close people I'm not worried about, but as you get a little further out.
Yeah, the people I haven't talked to for a couple of years, maybe, my son's teacher in high school or something like that. That's really hard to call them and say, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
So.
But could you call them and say, this might seem a little odd because I know we haven't talked in a while, but I am really worried. I am trying to get everyone that I know with this information, so they have this information, because I would hate if anybody missed out. I'd feel really bad about it. Now I've covered I know this is weird. I haven't talked to you in a while, right? And this is why I'm calling, right? And then we can just say, do you know what's going on in the real estate market? And they're either going to say yes or no, right? But then you've kind of just taken all of that. Joni, and would that take that weirdness away if you
I think that's a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
Basically, the standpoint, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I don't want you to miss out.
Yes.
Right.
And you were important to me, even though we haven't talked. Doesn't that leave the message to them that even though we haven't talked in a while, you're important to me because I put you on this list to get this important information.
Yeah.
but in a conversational, nice way. And then don't forget about Ford. Does everybody remember what Ford is?
Yes. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
Dreams, right? Perfect. Awesome. I don't know. Do you guys hear that? My computer keeps making a funny noise and I don't know what that is or how to stop it. And I have
It's
everything
almost like maybe your
turned off.
emails are coming in and you're getting pinged.
No, because the email's turned off. I have nothing on but Zoom right now.
Huh.
So I'm not sure what it is. It's just errant technology.
Hey, Carla,
Yes.
do you have a charger cord attached to your laptop or your computer?
Yeah.
So sometimes when I've got a charger that I think has a short in it and it's constantly trying to connect and it makes that noise.
All right. Well, I'm going to unplug the charger.
Connecting off and on.
All right. It's fully charged. So I'm going to unplug the charger. Thank you. We'll see if that helps. Thank you for letting me know that.
The other thing.
I'm usually docked at home. Where I'm in my office, I'm usually docked, so I don't have all of this extra stuff. Okay. Let's go back to wins and challenges. Joni, what's your win?
I attended this week via Zoom the open house, the 3 phases of open house, and like getting leads at each time. And it was agents all across the country. And it was, some things I knew, but then, it was a ton of ideas on how and like where you're lead generating at each time, the week before, the week of, the week after. It was really, really good. And I think it was great because there were so many agents from all across the country. So, and it's the one you recommended to us.
Yes, I'm glad you could join that. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done that. That I think is the Wednesday at noon one. And it is, I have a coach and my coach is a MAPS coach. MAPS is.
There she goes again.
She's frozen again.
That's all right. She'll be back and you'll probably be the host. Or we'll all drop off and have to struggle.
Well, I can just go ahead and give a win real quickly while we're waiting. I don't want to interrupt, Joni. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was my win, is going to that thing.
So I don't have any amazing wins, but I have little tiny wins. So I did my first Facebook Live yesterday.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I overcame that, and I had a little contest. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but I had a little contest for some gift cards. I had people, post a picture of their favorite room in their house and tell me why. And so I had 2 little gift cards, and they weren't, they aren't very much, and I actually already had them at home. But so I just thought, that would be a good idea to get people motivated. And I thought it was really cute. I got tons of views. I only got 1 response. So I already know who my winner is, I guess. But, it was a good experience and I figured out how to do it. So, and it wasn't as bad as I thought.
That's awesome, man.
That's amazing. Because I also think too, like all those people that logged on, they now know you're a realtor.
Right. So I had a lot more views than anything else I put on my business page. So that was good. So it was a start. And I had an appointment earlier in the week and that went well, but they're not ready yet. So,
Okay.
But I'm getting ready today to write a thank you note, a handwritten note. So, I'm just little by little, I guess my wins are just kind of, consistency and plodding through it. And my challenge is still, time, trying to, block out some time. But I just, I'm just keep working at it. And
I read this book and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just read this book and it talks about like, it's the little things add up more. The little things done with consistency add up more than just big, huge things, And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week with family reunion, that 1% better.
Right.
I did think about that this week. I thought about like 1% better.
I did a lot. So I've just been doing, 1 or 2 little things all day, each day, even if I can't get it all done, my goals or whatever, I just, I'm plugging in, I'm doing, like kind of 1 new thing each day. Carla, I was just telling them I did my first Facebook Live yesterday.
Yay!
So you got to go check out my page and watch it. I did a contest. So I only had one person respond to the contest, so they're going to win the gift card, but you know, it is what it is. But I didn't have, you know, I didn't even ever say what the value of the gift card was. I just said I had 2 gift cards. So, I mean, they're actually for $10 each, but I mean, I could always make it more, if, you know, but.
Or you can make it less. You could go get a $5 gift card from Starbucks because that's $5 and that's still more than they had before. You didn't say what it was. I love what Joni just said. And I love that when my internet fails me, you guys just keep on going. Thank you for that. So here's the thing. It's consistency. That's what Joni said, which is really important, right? Is that we consistently continue to do these things. So we did it once. Now we have to build on it.
Right. Right.
So when I did the quarantine find the toilet paper tour, I started out really slow. Remember, slowly then suddenly, right? It is a bold law and it is for real. So it started out really slow and the engagement, but you know what, was a good thing because I wasn't very good at it in the beginning and I never was really good at it, but I got better. And by the time the end came and I wasn't, you know, I was to the end of it and, you know, the quarantine had lifted, you know, it was pretty comfortable. First couple times I thought I was going to vomit. I mean, I was sick to my stomach having to do it, but then it got to be just second nature. So you get better at it the more you do it, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been anywhere near as bad as I thought. So
back to the Wednesday maps thing that I was saying before we move on, I want to finish that. The Wednesday maps thing. That is my coach puts this on every Wednesday and I send it to you and it's also on your at a glance. And it is productivity coaches from around the country and all of their, or any of their agents their coaching clients can be in there as well. So you get a couple of opportunities there. You get to hear from different coaches, right? Not just from me. And you get to meet other agents from around the country that could become part of your referral network. So it has multiple benefits. Okay.
what time is that at?
It's I think it's at 4:00 on Wednesdays. I'm afraid I'm not going to open my email right now and look. I'm not overtaxing this computer right now. I think I was on a land connection to the internet and I have switched to wireless, which shouldn't be better, but it seems to be. So we'll stick with that for right now. See if that works. At least it stopped beeping at us between Shelly's fix and unplugging the internet. Okay, who else? Who has, Shelly, you're driving. Can you give us your win and challenge while you're driving?
Sure. Oops. Hold on. Phone just tipped over. So I've had a really good week. My win is the listing that I had. We put it under contract last night. So Yay! That was a huge win. And not just because it went under contract, but because we had 2 offers and one was a full price cash offer. So one was an offer for $200,000 cash, right? So you would think that would be super fantastic, but it was offered by a company called Main Street Renewals, and they have a horrible reputation here for just nickel and diming and beating down the sellers. And I really, really, really didn't want to work with them. But we were going to take that offer. And then we had another offer come in by another agent in my office at Keller Williams Louisville East. And he offered like $5,100 more, I think, or $5,500 more. And which is great. But it's to real people. It's real people that I can look at across the table who are so excited to be getting their house, as opposed to just some company who wants to buy it, refurbish it, and then turn around and sell it again. So my client's got a bit of a higher offer, but we're selling to real people who really want that house. So that was a huge win in my heart. I really liked that. And then challenges. At one point this week, Carla knows this, I was very overscheduled and I was hitting the wall. So that didn't last too long, got out of that. But it's great to write things on your calendar, but you got to be careful because if you put too much on your calendar, it freaks you out after a while. So, but all is well.
Very good. I am excited that you got, because I know you really wanted a different offer. So tell them what you did there. I thought that was really good about how you you let the second buyer know that you would really
Yes.
like to work with them.
So what we did was the agent, his name is Mike Toller. He called me and he was doing everything right. He called me in advance to see what the sellers needed. He was checking on the time frames. He was asking all the right questions. And, you know, of course I couldn't tell him what the other offer was, but I was like, all right, Mike, here's the thing. It's a really strong offer and it's cash and it's really strong, like as strong as it can be. I said, are you following me? He's like, yeah. I said, but I would love to have real people. I want to look at your people's faces when they sign the paper because it's their house. And so he and I just had a communication. And we just kept going throughout the day. They moved to their showing time because I had to respond to this other company by 5 o'clock. So he and I just had a really, really good communication because I really wanted his people to get the house. So, yeah. So that's what we were doing. And it was great and it turned out great and we're really happy. So
I
on to
love that.
inspections.
So we talk about this a lot, right? A lot of times, and you guys are going to find this. How many of you guys have had a transaction where the agent on the other side was not communicating with you and it was frustrating?
Yes.
So
All
we
the
don't
time.
we don't want to be that agent, right? We want to make sure that we are communicating. And the best time to start that is when?
At the beginning.
At the very beginning, right? Before you write an offer, try your best to call the listing agent and say, hey, I am working on an offer. Is there anything I need to know? Is there anything that your buyers need other than price that will help me give you the best offer possible? It could be closing, possession, whatever that might be. But if you ask and you write the offer that takes care of the seller's needs, what have you said? I'm going to be easy to work with and we care about you. We're Keller Williams. What's the W in the Y4C2Ts? Anybody know the very first one?
Win.
Win or no deal, right? We want to win for everyone. Absolutely. Very good, Shelley. Thank you. All right, Robert. Are you there, Robert?
Yeah, I'm here.
Robert is the February PC agent of the month. Mr. Listings down there is the February PC agent of the month. So you can go ahead and share your win and challenge, Robert, but that was my win for you.
Okay. Well, that was kind of my win as well. Being a PC agent of February month, that was pretty good. That was unexpected, so it was really good. And then I guess my challenge is, finding houses. Like you guys said, we got to get out there and get more listings because finding challenges for my buyers. Right now, I got a buyer who's looking for a house in Plainfield, but there's like no homes really in Plainfield.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I got to try to find them a house. Even I called the builders and they don't even have anything building in Plainfield.
We're gonna talk when we get into MOJO. We're gonna talk some strategies there that might help. So we will cover that, Robert, here in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, Amber. Amber's got a big win. Are you there, dear?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Good. Share your big win and then tell me what's happened.
I'll start my video here. I'm straightening my hair. So my first listing went live on Thursday and we have had probably at least 30 showings of the house, at least. And we've had 2 or 3 of the cash offers from the same thing Shelley's going through, investors and stuff like that. And they've already passed 2 of those up. One, I think they want to do the same thing. I think they want to go with a family. So which is great. But we've already had 3 other offers from agents that have been in and shown the house this week. And we're getting really good feedback on the price, saying is, you know, is price just right through showing time and all that. So I feel confident about it, and I feel like we'll get we're gonna go over offers on Sunday at noon, and let everybody know that that's when they'll make their decision. So hopefully we'll have an accepted offer before then. And I put 2 offers in on a home for them last night. So hopefully crossing our fingers on that. I talked to both agents. And so telling them that, you know, I know it's a contingent offer, but their house is on the market. You know, I want to reiterate that yes. So it's good. I'm excited.
Very cool. Yay.
Congrats. Challenge is definitely everything that, you know, making sure everything is done the way it needs to be done. So that's my challenge, but it's been going well, and a little bit of stress, but no big deal.
I love that. Yay. First listing is exciting. The second one's not nearly as exciting as the first.
Yes.
Okay, let's see who else hasn't shared.
I have
Ryan, are you working or are you with us?
I'm with you.
Awesome. It's good to see you. We'll sort of see you. We get to see your headshot.
Yeah, I was gonna say oh, what'd you say?
I said we sort of get to see you because we see your headshot. You don't have your camera on, but it's nice to see you.
Yeah, I didn't do my hair this morning. No, my challenge, I guess, is just I guess trying to get back in the groove. I took a little time off there. It's kind of busy at work with the end of year and the month at inventory. So yeah, I attended the awards, and that's kind of got me motivated again. And all you guys are doing great. You know, so I've got wins, I guess, would be working with a buyer. He's trying to get his finances straight. He owns his own business, so he kind of just does whatever he wants with his money. So like December, January was kind of, he spent a lot, obviously. So he's kind of trying to get back in the groove on that. And I've got another guy wanting to list here in the next couple of weeks. He's redoing this kitchen. And then he's going to want to put it up for sale.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's a pretty much done deal. He's already got a home set up. His grandmother's selling it to him. So they just need to get rid of theirs and move on in.
That is
So
awesome.
that's pretty nice. Yep.
Very cool. All right, let's see who else. Valerie. Has everybody met Valerie? Did everybody meet everybody? Everybody met Joni. Joni introduced herself. Valerie, before you give your wins and challenge, since you're new, I think you might have been on last week, but new to some of these people, introduce yourself first.
I'm Valerie Nichols. I'm dual career. I've had my real estate license for almost 3 years now, but the week I passed my realtor exam, I got an offer. I got a full-time job back in federal service. So that was really, really, really important to me because I had 6.5 years prior service decades ago. So I've been working on that primarily and trying to keep my license active. And I was with another company, and she was starting up new she'd been in the business 20 years, but she was starting up new with a franchise and was just looking for agents. So she let me do part-time, but then I quickly faded from there and never did a transaction for her. God sent me to Keller Williams via a random phone call. Somebody setting appointments for a team lead to introduce Keller Williams. Okay, well then I got the phone call, and it was Michael, starts with the B.
Bounds.
Yes, Northwest.
And
he was really nice. And I liked what he had to say about Keller Williams. And then he kept wanting me to get in a relationship. And I said, this really feels like a pressure sales call. And then he said, well, do you need to pray about it? Well, yeah, I do. He said, I'd really like to establish a relationship with you. And I thought, well, I like the way this sounds. And he told me where he was in Avon on the west side. And in the office is the northwest, I think. And I thought, I don't want to go to Avon. I struggled to go downtown with the other agency. I said, and he asked me where I lived. And I said, I'm in Wanamaker, Southeast Marion County. Well, we have a South office. Maybe you could contact them. He said, but go ahead, pray about it, and then get back with me. Well, I didn't get back with him. And 2 days later, he called, and I couldn't remember his name, but I recognized his voice. And he asked me how I was doing. And I said, I hadn't really made a decision yet. And we had a pleasant conversation. And then a day or so later, the broker I was with said, I need to put your license in referral because I need the space for a full-time agent. And I thought, oh, I procrastinated. I should have called Keller Williams back. So I'm in Franklin Township. So I'm looking up Keller Williams because I don't even really know where Indy Metro South is, right? I found Debbie Holcomb here in Franklin Township. So I called her and told her my situation. And she said, well, I'm just a satellite office with Indy Metro South. Let me put you in touch with the team lead, Libby Sanders. So she did. And this was late on Friday, the last Friday in January, because the other broker said, I need to move your license Monday. That was February 1st. Okay, so I had a conversation with Libby, and we set up a Zoom meeting for Monday, and she understood that I needed to transfer my license, and she was going to help me do that and show me all the plans that were available. So I'm just jumping feet first into the Keller Williams family without really knowing the details. And and let's see, was I finished with this? My brain goes, so I did that. Oh, but I did that Zoom meeting from my sister's hospital room because Sunday I had to take her to the hospital. She's a cancer patient and she'd had chemo the Thursday before and hydration infusion on the Friday after that. And then she was overhydrated, so she was just getting sick. And then she was dehydrated, so the doctors put her in the hospital. So I'm doing this first ever Keller Williams interview, sign up, license transfer thing via Zoom in a hospital room.
Isn't that fun? Everybody talked about their path to where you are right now. It is so fun. Mo Anderson, and if you guys have ever need a book to read that's fun, that's really good and heartwarming, Mo Anderson wrote a book called A Joy-Filled Life, and she was our CEO at Keller Williams, and she's the chairman emeritus right now. And those of you that were at family reunion for Inspirational Morning, she fought COVID, so she was just on for a brief period of time. She normally runs that whole piece, but she talks about looking back at the tapestry of your life and how little things don't seem to be interconnected. And I love the story that Valerie just told that interconnects like all these different things. So thank you, dear. All right, tell me your win and challenge.
Well, at first I thought, well, I don't really have any, but I do. My challenges are, I'm a professional procrastinator. I think about things to do, but I got to finish this first. I'll do that later. And the do that later stack is a whole lot bigger than what I've got in front of me to do. Anyway, then after I'd made the appointment with Libby, I was talking with one of my other sisters. I was talking to my sister Penny about my sister Kim, who has cancer. And she said, you're still a real estate agent, aren't you? I said, yeah, but give me time because Monday I'm switching agencies. So I've got a house to list. That's a win. My challenge is I got to get my appointment with Jessica Riley, which I couldn't get till Monday when I'm not working my other job. So it's getting really exciting that I'm going to list a house.
You're
I've
gonna have a
got
first
one
list?
in the bag. I know it's going to it's going to go. I just got to get to the place I can start the process.
So what we have to
So
do in
that's
the
a win.
procrastination pile is we have to pull one piece off, right? Pull one piece off and get it done, and then pull another piece off and get it done. And we just have to take one thing at a time. And that's what we have
I can do that. I can go to a pile of anything in my house and think, what's in it? That's what I want, and pull it right out. I'm good at that.
I move piles. Do you guys do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really help, does it? We move it from one stack to another. Probably not. We have to take it off and actually do it. So that's awesome. All right, Dean, how are you? Not at the firehouse today. You're muted. You're going to have to unmute.
Sorry. Okay. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing? You're not working
I'm
today.
doing good. Well, I am, but not for not for IFD. So
there you go.
I'm also dual career. Let's see. Apparently my name's getting out because I had a guy call me and ask me what's going on with the neighbor's house. So that's good. Still, when I work overtime, I'm doing that's dual purpose. I'm making contacts and reestablishing relationships, putting them in my database, talking about refinancing, new guys on the job, telling them that, I'm in the business, if there's anything I can do for them, et cetera, et cetera. Talk to them about why they're renting as opposed to owning, and if they like paying other people's mortgage as opposed to telling them. But as far as actual wins, no, I still got stuff that, it's just simmering.
Well, I think that if somebody calls you, that is always a win, right? We spend our time calling other people, but when we have a win of our own, then when they call us, that's a win for us. So I love that. All right, Pam, how many miles are we now?
I'm at 13 miles.
13 miles. Does she not make you guys feel guilty when you watch her?
It's multitasking.
It's just black coffee, nothing else.
What's your win and challenge, dear?
I got 2 closings last week, which was fun. It's more fun seeing the ACH go into my bank account. And then my challenges are, I made a lot of calls, but nobody answers. And so I left a lot of voicemails, and honestly, I never answer my phone if I don't know who's calling. So I'd love to hear some suggestions.
Kenneth, you going to share again?
Yeah, if they don't answer, I just send them a text right away and say, is this Chad? Is this Melissa? Is this whatever their name is this whoever? And if it's a cell phone, I kid you not, I have a 100% response rate because they want to know who just called and now who's texting me, asking me, is this, they probably, because I think they might think it's someone that they used to know from high school or something.
Right.
So I've been doing that. It's been working really well.
So when they say yes, what do you say?
I have for when I'm prospecting, I just have a message that I use for everyone that responds. Just said, hey, this is Kenneth with Keller Williams. I'm reaching out to neighborhoods on the south side of town. It's a really hot seller's market. And we have a lot of buyers looking to buy. Have you considered selling? Something like that.
Thank you.
So here's what I would recommend. Your message would be, hey, this is Kenneth. Is it okay if I just give you a call? This will be easier than texting.
What if they say, what do you want? I want to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, I have something. I just have something I needed to share with you. My name's Pam and I'm with KW, and I just had something important I needed to share with you. Do you have a minute? And then if they say, when I'm not going to take a call, then I would go back with, okay, I just wanted to let you know that this is as close as we're ever going to get to a name your price market. And I wanted to talk to you about that. So if you're interested, give me a call back, right? And just let it go. But if they're going to be difficult, but getting that response rate, that is good, right? You're getting that response. We still want to get them on the phone, right? You cannot have a conversation via text. I don't care what any millennial tells you. There is a delayed piece there. Like you can't have a flow of a conversation via text.
Right.
You ever send a text and then like 4 hours later, they text you back and you can't even remember what you asked in the first place. I mean, there's no, there's no flow there. So you're going to have to try to get them on the phone. But I think or Kenneth I think that is fabulous. I mean, you could even say, I'm trying to reach John. Is this the right number? Right? Something like that, just to pique their interest and see if you could get a better response rate that way. So I love that.
I have to vouch.
Carla, I wanted to ask you, I have a buyer who has a huge budget and then they're going to sell their house if we can ever find them a house, but they want a unicorn. So they've been driving through neighborhoods, looking at houses that aren't for sale and telling me they like them. And I've been calling those people. Do you have any experience with that?
My only experience with that, and we're going to talk about this here in a little bit. I had a client that wanted a condo. Armand and I commiserated over this. They wanted a condo in Cobblestone over by Eagle Creek. And he had had a heart transplant, and this was really critical for them. And this was last March, April, May, that time frame. And I couldn't get anything. I couldn't shake anything loose. So I called everyone in Cobblestone. And I called everyone in Cobblestone, and that didn't work out. And then what I ended up doing was I found a pending in Cobblestone that was 1 day past closing date. So it said that the closing date was yesterday and today is today. And I called the agent and I said, hey, I see you were supposed to close on this yesterday. Is that going through, or, is there a chance here? Because I have a cash buyer ready to go. And the agent said, as a matter of fact, we are over these people. They are driving us crazy. If you want it, I'll release and give me an offer. So we wrote an offer, and I kind of maybe stole it from somebody. I'm not sure how that works, but but that's my experience with that, Pam, is I love that you're doing that. And the conversation is simply, I have a buyer who's interested in your home. Would you be interested in selling?
Right.
And if they say no, I'm not interested in selling, you might even go 1 or 2 steps deeper and ask questions. Well, can I ask, what is it about your home that you love that, you think you wouldn't find somewhere else? Or, what is it that ties you to your home? I'm telling you right now, you could call me all day long and I'm not going to buy it. I would also preface this, Pam, by saying, I want to let you know, first and foremost, I'm not one of those wholesalers. Okay. I'm a realtor. I have a buyer. They drove by your house. They would really like to know, would you like to sell it? And this is not a discount price. They're willing to pay market value.
And they do have a daughter with a disability, so they want like an in-law quarters for her. And so my buyer's like, I'm not above using that. Go ahead and tell them. So
the other thing that you could do, Pam, is you could write a letter to them as well and include a picture of the daughter and the family. You could do like a buyer's letter and mail it to those houses as well.
That's brilliant.
Awesome. All right. Lakeisha, good morning. Miss Pretty Hair over here.
Good morning.
Don't you just love her hair? So cute. Ryan needs to go to the hairdresser now and see if he can't pull anything off.
So my win is part of my goal this year. I would like to have a pre-approval every week this year, at least. So far I've been working on it, and I've been having like 4 appointments the last few weeks. I signed someone this week. Sunday, I'm going to sign someone else. We're going over the buying process. My family member wants to list his home in like sometime in March. And then when I did my Valentine pop by, that one, she want to list her home too. So I'm like following into that win. My challenge is making calls like everyone else. But I feel like, when you get to those crossroads, you just like, look, I got to call somebody because I don't have anybody else in the pipeline. So that's where I am. So I'm going to make calls and stuff today. So yeah, that's my win challenge. And I do have a question about calling distressed properties.
Okay.
So, do you treat that as an expired or a short sale?
Well, what would let you know if it was a short sale or not?
I don't know. I thought if it was distressed, then that was kind of like somebody behind on their bill or something.
So
It's in
short
foreclosure,
sell,
right?
does anybody know what a short sell is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's when they've gotten their first mortgage letter, or when they are so far behind that they are in negative equity.
Yeah, a pre-foreclosure. So what we have to look at, Lakeisha, is we have to ask a question this. We do a CMA and we know what we think the house will sell for, and then we have to find out what the payoff is on the mortgage.
Oh, okay.
And if the payoff on the mortgage is greater than what you could sell it for, that's what makes it a short sell. And when it's a short sell, it is a lot different because you are going to have to negotiate with the lender. So before you even list it as a short sale, you have to call the lender and find out if the lender would be willing to take less than the payoff. And that's what makes it a short sale. A distressed property means that they're behind, right? They're behind in their payments and they're distressed, and we can help them because we can help them sell their home and not have to go into foreclosure and maybe even get a little bit of their equity back. So they might owe $150,000 on a $250,000 house and be behind on their loan, right? That's a distressed. That's not a short sale. The only way you're going to know the difference is by how?
Well, I'm gonna call them. That's what I'm planning on doing today. I got an RPR and saw like distressed properties around the downtown area. So I definitely want to make those calls today.
But what do we have to do when we make those calls to
I
know?
have no idea.
We have to ask a lot of questions. Okay. And we almost have to say this, you know what? I know this is going to be really challenging. I would love to help you get out of the situation that you're in, but I need to ask you a few questions. And I know they're going to be difficult questions for you. You know, how far behind are you on your mortgage? Do you know what the payoff is?
Okay.
Right? What's the condition of your home? You know, is there anything else that, because what happens when people can't make their mortgage payment? Do you think other things in the house might go by the wayside as well?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
or there's so much wrong with their house, they're not making their payments because they can't fix it. So they're like, we got to stay here and figure out what we're going to do next because we can't fix this house. We can't.
And the other thing, Keisha, is we have to be careful about liens and judgments.
Okay.
So they may only owe 150 on their mortgage and it may be worth 200,000, but you guys know my bad story, right? I had a distressed property and we got all the way to through title and realized that there was $50,000 in income tax liens on the house. And by the way, the IRS does not short sell. So we had a big problem there and ended up, you know, the rest of that story. I paid for a chimney and that's how we sold it. But but yeah, I mean, you have to be careful with those. So you have to make sure you're asking a lot of questions. And if you do list one of those, pre-order the title. Find out if there are any judgments because you don't want to get to the 2 weeks before closing and title comes back and you have a problem.
Okay.
Right.
And the other, because I was a foreclosure paralegal for a long time.
Oh, I need to get your number so I can get some questions answered.
I think I need her number too. Wow.
I mean, shoot,
I'll tell you what, we'll have Joni in a couple weeks come tell you guys everything you need to know about foreclosures. How about that?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think
and two, there's just it's dealing with the bank and the short sale. You have to really think because you're going to invest a lot of time, and the mortgage company's not going to talk to you because you're not the owner. They can't talk to you.
And
So
they can
you have to help. Right? I'm sorry, what?
They can with an authorization, right?
They can with an authorization. So you've got to talk. Number one, you've either got to talk your buyer into giving you authorization to talk to their mortgage company, which some people do, some people won't. The short sale process is insanely long.
Yes, it is long. I did have one of my first, I guess the first one I had under contract was a short sale. And the other agent said, oh, we already had an offer and she already knew what the bank would accept. So she thought that it was going to be a quicker process and it wouldn't be as much. But regarding the liens, the person ended up having other liens on the property and they was not really negotiating the other liens. It was like dumb stuff. Like I didn't know that she had a car accident. So I guess the car dealership put a lien on the house. She had doctor bills. It was a lien from doctor bills. And she had one more lien from the HOA. She had a lien. So she had about 4 different liens. And a couple of them, and the bank said they will only pay this amount, a set amount towards those liens. So the other agent had to negotiate the liens to try to get them to come down on the price and what they would accept to give them clear title. We end up having to pay one of the liens to get it to closing. So basically we split the payment to get it to closing, and that was the last minute, the last day. I actually drove to Louisville to pay the bill.
Oh, bless your heart. That is, and so the point there, Lakeisha, is that these are challenging, right? But it could be not challenging too. It could just be they're in a bad place. They have a little equity and they need to sell, right?
Okay.
And then it could just be that. And we have this forbearance period right now, which has kept people out of foreclosure. So it's an opportunity. And the one thing that you can remind them is that if they end up with a foreclosure on their credit report, that's a whole lot harder to overcome than if they just sell it with delinquencies and get it paid off.
Okay.
So that's the other motivating factor. All right. I think Melissa and Angela still need to share, and then we're going to jump into MOJO.
Hey, guys.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh. Hey, guys.
Hey, Angela.
Good to see you here.
I know it's been a while. Well, my win is I'm finally closing on my investor's property on Tuesday. The challenge with that before it became a win was the title company was extremely procrastinating. I don't know, and they kept giving us excuses. It was a originally 10-day close, and we are on day 21. They were not communicating well, so I finally went up. I went above the person who was helping us. I went around her, I'd say, and that helped. What the issue was, we wasn't told about the issue till week 3, is that there was a line of credit still open, an open mortgage that needed to show proof of payoff, or they can submit the authorization letter to get the proof. Well, this was in 01, and what she had it didn't suffice what the title company needed, which we didn't understand. But anyway, we didn't hear anything back. We didn't know what was going on. Then we finally heard, this was probably day 4, that wasn't what they needed. We got to do the authorization. So they did authorization, or she signed the paperwork. And then I asked, well, how long do you think it would take? Because this is kind of, it's been a while. She said, honestly, with us being so busy, it may be, we're looking at about 2 weeks out. Well, I'm relating this to the buyer agent. He's ready to walk, of course. And I don't know, that was another issue, because on the purchase agreement he put on there, we will close by, what was it? I forgot the date, or 2 days, or upon title company completion. So with that, I had to go to my team leader, because because he was saying he was gonna walk, we're gonna have to fill a mutual release. And I was like, well, he put the wording on there, and it is a title work issue that we had no control of. But it ended up working out to where, after I went around the lady and we got everything together, they were able to do an affidavit that the seller would have to sign at closing. So with the agent, that was an issue I had. If anybody's ever dealt with that, he wanted to walk and get his earnest money back, but he put on the purchase agreement that we'll close on such and such date, or completion of title work. Would he have been able to walk, Carla, on that if he worded it like that on the purchase agreement?
Who chose the title company?
The seller.
So you
Well,
chose the title
I
company?
gave her options, and it was a cash buyer, so we had a few options to choose, and she chose that title company because it was closer to her.
If probably, I mean, if you chose the title company, I that's a broker question. I'm going to start with that, but I'm gonna give you my opinion, but it's not a broker opinion. My opinion on that is that if you chose the title company and the title company was what was causing the delay, that there would probably have been a good chance that the buyer could have walked.
Oh, okay.
So here's what's important about a title company. My opinion, and this is completely my opinion, and you can do with it whatever you want. This is not a directive, but I do not recommend that you leave the title company to chance. I do not recommend that I recommend that at every opportunity you have a title company relationship, and that's the title company that you push to use. Now, I would never lose a deal over a title company, but every offer I ever wrote, except for in a multiple offer situation where the seller has indicated that they pre-ordered title, I will say that I get to choose the title company. And that's just the way I feel about it. Because I have worked with some horrible title companies. I have worked with some big name title companies that I despise the transaction. It was horrible. And I have my favorite title company, and I have never had a problem with my favorite title company. And so
this was my third transaction, and the first two I really liked them, but they did not do cash buyers and quick closers. So that's what led to us choosing the one that we chose.
Well, I highly recommend that you talk to the ladies at Title Alliance.
Okay.
They're a small title company, and they treat you like family, and they'll take really good care of you. They are on the south side, but they will close anywhere. So it doesn't matter that they're on the south side.
You say Alliance?
Title Alliance. Angela, I'll send you Christina's information.
I've never heard of a company not doing cash.
Hey, Carl, I got a question about since we're on
Yeah.
titles. I got a question. It's kind of related to the title, but kind of not. So I had a closing that's coming up, but my my buyer, not my buyer, my seller wanted to move it up a week, but I think my seller, the buyer agent, wants to close early. So I was gonna just shoot a text to the buyer agent and let them know that my seller wanted to see if they could go out to I guess another extra week to close, because I mean, is that a good thing to do? Because the thing I was thinking is, because I don't want to go to, I know for a fact if I go to closing, they ask to stay in the house, then they're gonna owe the buyer agent or the buyer money.
Well, they're going to owe no matter what, because there's whatever the purchase agreement says it's going to control.
But I mean, if we move the closing day, then it won't affect anything, right? If we did an amendment on a closing day,
do an amendment, and both parties would have to agree. Yep, and then you'd be fine.
and then we'd be fine. I'm thinking that's the only way to where my seller won't owe money.
Yeah. All right. We've got, hello, Amy, welcome. Chelsea, thank you for coming. I see you. I know we're getting ready. We got to get into MOJO because we only got 45 minutes left. But Melissa, I want to hear about your win and challenge real quick.
Win, we had a closing this month. I have a closing on Monday. So those are my wins. And challenges, the month of February was a crazy challenge for me in lots of different levels. And I won't go into all of that detail. So I'm just glad February is over and I'm looking forward to March. I'm optimistic about March.
Right. March Madness.
Bring on the Lucky Charms. Come on now.
Right.
All right. I love the two closings, and I love the fact that we can always have a fresh start, right?
That's right.
He was talking about a fresh start yesterday with me as well. Like sometimes when things just aren't really going very well, let's just say, all right, you know what? Let's just have a fresh start.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Jump right back up. Poor Renata, she's had 4 or 5 fresh starts this morning because she keeps her internet's worse than mine. She keeps getting knocked down back in.
So sweet to log me back in. Kudos to you.
As long as I can see and remember, that's great. All right, Chelsea, you got a win for us?
Yep, I've got 2 closings hopefully next week, and I just got a buyer under contract this week, so happy about that.
Yay! That is rock star stuff. Very good. Amy, you got a win? Maybe Amy's listening and not talking because she's not muted.
Maybe her internet's down like mine was.
It could be.
She looks frozen.
Or mine, because mine was just awful. You would never believe that being on wireless would be better than being hard plugged in, would you? All right, I'm going to share. Has everybody, who has not gotten into MOJO yet? Has anybody not gotten in?
I attempted, didn't get in.
Okay. I see Armand talking, but I can't hear him because he's muted.
I didn't yet. I just looked at the email and kept going.
Okay.
I haven't tried it.
That's what everybody did.
All right. Well, first of all, let me tell you what it is. Okay. So you remember before I subscribed to a service where if you wanted to circle prospect and it literally had to be a radius circle around an address, I could pull a list of names and phone numbers. Well, that was not very, it wasn't working very well. So I went out and looked for a different one, and my maps coach uses this MOJO Sells with her coaching clients. And so I took a look at it and I talked to them and I got it set up. So what we have is the ability, it's sort of circle prospecting, but the cool thing is you can actually draw a polygon, you can do whatever you want, and you can create lists, or you can just and so I thought you couldn't export. What I learned yesterday is what you can do is generate a hot list or a hot sheet. And when you create the hot list or hot sheet, then you can print it out and you can make your calls from that. But so you're going to see when we get in here, I'm going to show you how to draw and get all your things. But what we're looking for, let's talk about really quick. When are some opportunities to use this type of data in your lead generation? When would this work for you?
Farming, if you want to farm a neighborhood.
If you want to farm a neighborhood to create your list. Now you're going to have to enter them into command, right? Once you've made their phone calls, and you're not probably going to have an email address. You're going to have to make the phone calls to get their email address so that you can set them up on the neighborhood nurture. But it's absolutely awesome for farming a neighborhood. Now, when we farm a neighborhood, do you guys remember when Leah came and joined us? What's the most important part of, it's a word that Joni used earlier.
Consistency.
Consistency. It's not a one and done thing. So you don't just door knock, Jay, and then not do anything else. You have to consistently contact them over and over and over again. So you have to put them on a smart plan for that. You're going to put them on a neighborhood nurture and then put them on some other kind of smart plan. Even if it's just wishing them happy St. Patrick's Day. There is a really cool Happy St. Patrick's Day smart plan in the library. If you go get it and then you just set everybody in your database up, they're going to get a text message on St. Patrick's Day, and it's really cute. It has a little Irish like flavor to it or whatever. For those of you that are in Indy Metro South and Indy Metro Northeast and are not on a team, you are now attached to the Pro Coach account, and there's that smart plan is in there for the team, so you could see it if you wanted to know which one I put in there. But collectively, we'll be able to do those things together now that we are connected in that account. So
Carla, you sent us the login for that?
MOJO, yes, I sent you the login for that. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. When is another time where we could use the MOJO data? How about an open house?
Oh.
If we were having an open house, could we pull down the information for the people that live around the open house, invite them to the open house?
And there's on that open house thing I went to on Wednesday, that call I went to, they talked about that they used MOJO for exactly that.
So yeah, so we can call and invite. What's the script for that when we're calling people to invite them to an open house in their own neighborhood?
Come nib in your neighbor's business.
Yeah. How about this?
Neighbor.
We find that most people would like to choose their own neighbor. Would you like to choose your new neighbor? Well, come to the open house and
if there's anybody you know that wants to buy it.
Yeah, and see if it's something that you could connect somebody with, so you can pick your own neighbor. Right? Is it better to pick your own neighbor than end up with one you didn't want to have? Yeah, something like that. You can have a fun conversation around that. Okay, when else?
Just listed.
Just listed. Yeah, we just listed a property in your neighborhood. Just pended. Oh my gosh, we just pended a house. So you could look in your market center and see that somebody else, and you could call and say, we because we're Keller Williams, right? We just pinned a home in your property in your neighborhood in one day. Do you know what's going on in the market right now? Right? So we could have the market of the moment conversation. We could have unlimited market of the moment conversations. And then everyone we talk to, we could add a contact to our database. How about we got a buyer? Robert's got a buyer in Plainfield. He wants to buy a house in Plainfield. I would say, Mr. Buyer, I know there are no properties on the market right now for you, and I want to help you find one. So here, do me a favor, give me 2 or 3 neighborhoods where you would really like to live. And then I'm just going to call all the people in those neighborhoods and see if they'll sell you their house. And then call all the people in those neighborhoods and say, I've got a buyer who really would like to live in this neighborhood. Would you be interested in selling your home? I wouldn't tell them it's the market of the moment where you can name your own price, though, because we represent the buyer. Just saying, remember who your client is. But that's your opportunity, right? So you got that. So you guys can think of some other ways where you could use this data, but now I'm going to go share it to you so you can see it. So you guys all got the login. Here's a catch. Sorry, there is a catch. The catch is that Keen, who is my new PC backer, every Monday is going to see who submitted their accountability forms and send them the new password. It changes every week. That's what MOJO does. And so if you submit your accountability form by noon on Monday, you will get the password for that week to have access to MOJO. So there is a catch. You have to participate with me in order for me to share this with you. It might be a bribe. You could consider it that way. My kids will tell you that their entire childhood was based on bribes. So I believe in bribes. Okay. Incentive. Yes.
So if you were to reach out,
what'd you say?
If you were to reach out to, say you had a buyer and you were calling, and would that get into the dual agency possibly?
Well, it depends. It could, if they want you to list it for them, right? But if you're just going to represent the buyer and make them an offer and they're going to not have an agent, then maybe not. You definitely have to have that agency conversation with your buyer and with the perpetual seller, right? If the seller says, well, what's the commission going to be? You say, well, I've already talked to my buyer and they would be willing to have a dual agency situation here where I wouldn't tell anything that you told me confidentially to the buyer, and I wouldn't tell anything that buyers told me confidentially to you. And I could just navigate this process for the both of you. And you could even agree to lower your commission from 7 to 6 if they would agree to do this, or however you wanted to handle your commission. But it's the way you deliver it, right? My commission's normally 7, but if we could work this out, then I would lower my commission to 6. But you definitely have to have the agency conversation. You guys know, when do you guys need to have the agency conversation with your clients?
First
When you
thing.
first speak with them.
Before you do anything meaningful moving forward. So my general rule of thumb was always, I had that if I was meeting them to show them a house and we were not under a buyer's agency agreement, that when we got to the house, I would tell them that under state law, I'm required to have this agency conversation with you before we get started. I may have done it to them on the phone, or if not, I'm going to do it in the doorway, right? And I'm going to explain to them the difference between a buyer's agent and a listing agent, or the selling agent and a listing agent. All right, so here we are. Can you guys all see MOJO?
Yeah.
Okay, logged in, we're going to go to neighborhood search. When we click on neighborhood search, and then we can enter an address, or we can zoom in, zoom out. We can do whichever we want. It's hard for me with one screen. I can't find it. The zoom in and zoom out are over here, right? So we get to zoom in or zoom out. And then we go over here and we decide what we want to do. We can freeform, we can radius, or we can street search. So I like freeform because I might want to zoom in. This is my street right here is where it's sitting right now. Okay.
Did you ever type in the neighborhood, or are you just going straight from the map and zooming in?
I typed in, the way I got here was I typed in my home address, and then I zoomed into it. Okay. So my home is right here. Oh, right here. This one's my house. I'm on the do not call list, so I don't show up, right? Because this is scrubbed against the do not call list.
Okay, so we don't
So-
have to worry about looking it up and nothing like that.
Nope, it's already scrubbed. So if I were going to freeform plot, I'm just going to put my marker down where I want it. And then I'm going to put my next one down. Nope, I'm not. Going to put my marker down. I'm mouse challenged here. Put my marker down. All right, let's try this again. Freeform. Marker, 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 marker. Now I can stretch this out if I want. I can bring this down here. I can do whatever I want. I can move it. If there's a dot, I can move it. I can move it to where I want. Okay. And so now I've captured what I want, and it tells me over here on the left-hand side that I have 20 contacts searched. Okay. And then I'm not ever going to click this box because I'm not ever going to call people that are on the do not call list because I don't want to have a problem. Okay. Now and then we click your import. Okay. So it's going to import that into our data over here. And it says that it's been scrubbed. So that's good. And it reminds me that I'm not supposed to call people that are on the do not call list. Okay. So then I'm going to name this. Okay. And so I'm going to name it Carla and Woodhill. So you're going to name it something. You need to start with your name, please. We're going to make this a best practice. Start with your name so I know who the list belongs to. And then you're going to name it something that makes sense to you. You might put Carla 227 call list. Like this is who I'm calling today. And when you're done with the list and you've finished everything, you can just delete it, right? So we're going to finish the import, and it has imported 15 contacts. So now if I go to my data, it's taken me back here. And now I've got my Carla 227 call list here. Okay. Now I can go down here and I can print hot sheets. And I have to select the rows. So I'm going to select what rows I want to print for the hot sheets. Okay. So you know that Control Shift allows you to select, right? So you hit Control Shift and then I'll have you select. Now I can print the hot sheets and I can say, what do I want? I want all history information. Do I want just a lead sheet? What do I want? And I can send it to myself. So.
And Carla, is this all the information that you actually, you kind of highlighted or you shaded? These are all of those?
The ones that I selected.
Okay.
Yeah. So Amy pipe in. Amy's done this. Look at this because she's already got a hot sheet. She is on top of it. I should have had Amy teach you guys how to do this. Is she on here yet? Can she talk to us? All right, so here's what the hot sheet looks like. Okay, so it's going to give you the information on the property. It's going to tell you what list it came from. It does have email addresses and it has phone numbers. Okay, and it's going to go through for every one of those. So you can print this out and you can make your calls from this. And then when you contact people, then you can add them to your database. Verify the information. Like, Jerry answers the phone and you say, okay, I want to make sure that I got your email correct, right? Is this your email? And just work through that. Now you're not always going to have an email, but you should always have a phone number. It wouldn't be on the list.
So what do you tell them when they say, where did you get my number?
Well, you know what? I really don't know. I subscribed to a service because I was looking for people in this neighborhood and this was just a service I got.
Okay.
Or, you know what? I don't know. My administrative assistant pulls this for me and I'm not really sure. I'm not sure where she gets that from. That's a really good question. Or the phone book. Do you know? Do you still get a phone book at your house? Because I get one. Do you guys get a phone book at your house? Mine goes straight into the recycling bin, but I get one every year.
It's smaller every year.
It does.
Yes.
I didn't know they still made phone books.
And they do. All right. So what do you guys tell me what you're thinking about this? What questions do you have?
So you would.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So you could, if you have a buyer and a pre-select, I feel like you can do it buyer and just prospecting, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it's just Marion County, right?
No, it's the whole country.
Okay, but do we, like, can I look in Hancock County?
You can look in California.
Okay. I thought you were only, I must have scrambled it up in my mind. I
That
thought,
is for sale by owners. So I also subscribe to for sale by owners, and I haven't figured out what to do with those yet.
okay.
You're not seeing those here.
So these
Then
are
also
just,
you're gonna
these
see
are just the owners of the property.
according to records, and then it's not going to be perfect. I mean,
Okay.
just know that sometimes you're going to call a number and that's not going to be the right number.
Okay.
This data just comes from public records, right?
Okay.
And MOJO goes out and scours public records, and it's not going to be perfect. I mean, I can tell you it's not going to be perfect. I can tell you that when I go into Been Verified and look me up, my information's not correct in there. So it's not perfect, but it's better than what you have without it.
Is there something like that in my board, Carla, I'm thinking about, or no?
Remind.
Okay.
Remind sort of, but Remind doesn't give you the phone numbers and emails.
Gotcha. Okay.
Remind allows you to find the addresses.
Okay. But it doesn't give you the phone numbers. Okay.
No.
And these aren't houses for sale or anything. These are just the owners of the property in this area and the numbers that they have for these people, and they're not on the do not call list.
Correct.
Okay.
And it doesn't give you any history. I mean, you could go look in MyBor. You do have to be careful. And I want to tell you this because this is not linked to MyBor. So we don't know if these properties are for sale or not. And if you call a property and the seller says, and the person that answers says, well, I'm already listed. I have a realtor. You say, oh, I am so sorry. I was just calling from a list. I'm going to make a note, and I absolutely did not mean to bother you. Thank you for your time, and hang up. Right? Do not pass go. I mean, do not stop immediately, because it is an ethical violation for you to try to solicit another realtor's client.
Yeah.
So the minute they say, well, you know what, I'm listed right now. And you just say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. This was just a list that I was calling from. Thank you so much. I'm going to look your information up in the multiple listing service and I'm going to send it to my buyers. Thank you so much. And hang up, like just get off the phone. Okay. So we don't want anybody to think we're out trying to take their client. So thank you for asking that question, Joni, because that helped me know that I need to tell you. You can also come in here and type notes and use this as a database. I don't recommend that. We have command, and that's going to blow this out of the water. The only thing that I see this as a good thing for is for the data. There is a really cool thing though. When you open up the actual sheet. So I did that by double clicking on the address or something there, and it opens up this sheet. And if you go to lead sheet, there's some really cool questions here that might be a really good memory jogger for scripts if you wanted to call from the sheet. Or you could just capture these questions, put them on a piece of paper with your lead sheet, and make sure that you're asking the questions. So what questions do you have? Do you think this is going to be?
Where are the questions at? I'm not seeing them. The ones you said they're really
right
good
here
questions.
on the right.
Let me see.
Are you not seeing my screen? Maybe I'll stop
Okay.
sharing.
Well, I had it, then you stopped sharing it.
Okay. Wow. Right here on the right. When do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home? I don't care for that one so much. If you sold your home, where would you go next? How soon do you have to be there? What do you think stopped this is for expireds. What do you think stopped selling your home from selling? So yeah, these are kind of expired questions.
How do you know if somebody's expired?
Sale by owner questions, and you could pick on pre-qualifier questions. Huh?
How do you know if it's an expired listing?
You're going to have to put the address into the multiple listing service.
Oh, okay. It's not something that MOJO's going to tell you. Okay.
No.
So MOJO's not going to tell you if it's expired or if it's for sale by owner
or anything. No, okay. This is just purely prospecting data.
Okay.
Hey, Carla, I got a question for you. Can you show me how you got to this exact thing with Ross Allison?
So I pulled the list. Remember, I drew around my neighborhood and I
Yeah, I
made,
remember that.
and then I clicked on my list. And when
Okay.
I'm on my list, I can either print hot sheets, and that's what I showed you earlier where you can print it, or I can go in here and I can just click on the person and it's going to pull up their sheet.
Oh, okay. You
And
just
then
click
these
on.
lead sheets over here, the 3 that they give you with questions are for expireds, for sale by owners, or pre-qualifiers. And so you can go
Okay.
through this list of questions. I actually recommend you all go through this list of questions and write them down, because these would all be great questions to ask people when you're on a call with them. We're going to talk about questions in here just a minute before we wrap up. So do you think this is going to help you? Do you know how I'm not going to be very happy if anybody tells me they can't lead generate because they don't have anybody to call?
Because then you like for me, I could just block off an area in Hancock County and just say, and just start calling people and saying, hey, are you interested? You know, it's a big market right now. You can pretty much name your price. Have you ever thought about selling your house?
Look at you running the script, just like silk off the tongue. That was fabulous.
Yes.
All right.
I
I have a question for you though. Before you ask a question, I have a question for you. Before you call in MOJO, who should you call first?
I don't know.
Who is your best source? What's your best conversion rate?
Your spear?
Your prospect. Yeah, your prospect.
It's
so you can see if for some reason you can cross-reference your list.
You could absolutely put your people in there and see if you put their address in there and see if you could get their phone number. Absolutely, you can do that. But I'm just suggesting that before you go calling everyone in Hancock County, that you start with here if you haven't called them first.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I'm
All
definitely.
right, Makia.
The question was, when you go back and you pulled up the list and you selected your list, what did you choose to compile that you was going to print? What was the option that you chose?
Oh, yep. Hang on. Share screen. Come on. Share screen. So that's when we're here and we pick the list. Hang on, I got to move my box again. And we pick the list, and then we go down here and we hit print hot sheets.
Hot sheet. Okay.
Oh, before we do that, remember we have to select. So you pick which ones you want, and it's Control Shift, and that will allow you to pick everything above, right? So you can just Control Shift and get them all. Okay. And when you have them all, you hit print hot sheets.
Print hot sheet. Okay.
And then you're going to put an email in here because you can email it to yourself. Okay.
And that's going to be, and then you put all history information. Okay.
And then click on OK. Oh, I think it went to Amy. Hopefully she doesn't mind. Okay. And then it's going to pull them all up.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Right. And just to protect you, right, it's going to say on here every time that it's been checked against the DNC.
Okay.
So you know that you're not going to get in trouble.
Okay.
And if somebody says to you, I'm on the do not call list, you're going to say, you know what? I am so sorry. And I will absolutely make a note of that, but I'm going to help you out here. You're going to need to go in and check this number because we scrub everything against the do not call list. And I got your number. So you might check that. That might be why you're getting calls that you don't want to get. Just help them out, right? Are they going to think nicely of you if you approach it that way?
Yes.
Because some people, when you call them, are you not very happy when some people call you?
Yeah.
So it may be what you're looking for is people that you can help, right? And give them you're giving them information that is useful to them that they may not know. There are some people, and Armand might tell you, because I think Armand's really versed with the DNC. Some people will tell you that technically you're calling to offer information and you don't have to worry about the DNC. I don't subscribe to those rules. If somebody doesn't want to be called, I don't want to call them. And that's the Keller Williams position on it too, by the way. So it's my job to tell you not to.
It depends on, to me, it depends on what list they're on. If they're on a for sale by owner,
they ask for you to call.
Even if it says DNC.
Yes, I agree with you 100% there, because they put a sign in their yard with the number on it. You need to be calling there. So if it's a for sale by owner, don't worry about the DNC, but in all other cases, worry about the DNC.
But the people that are on expired lists are geos that they don't even have their house listed. I would be careful with DNCs.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to show you guys, and are we good? Does everybody know now about MOJO? You know how to use it? You think you can get in and play with it? If you have any problems, you know where I am at 5 o'clock on Monday, and that would be a really good time to come in and say, hey, I'm having a hard time with MOJO. Can you help? Okay, that would be a really good 5 o'clock open office hour kind of question. Okay, I am not suggesting that you not call your database though. You're going to get better results calling your database. This is something that you do after the fact, or you do to enhance, or you do to help your buyer. Okay, so this should not substitute calling your database. I wanted to show you guys, have you guys all got into your mykw.kw.com and looked at your reports? Does everybody know, does anybody not know how to get your reports out of command?
I tried that and my reports did not come up because I seen that option and I was like, oh, I can do this. But when I pulled it up, it didn't come up. So
okay, well, I don't know why that is. And that would probably be a Jenny Franklin question for you. Okay. But I want to show you guys where these reports are. So when you are in mykw.kw.com, and you're going to go to reports. Okay. Right here is reports. And when you go to the reports, I'm not going to click on that because I thought I already opened it. Hang on. It's hard with that share thing up there. No. Okay. I'm going to have to click on reports. I've lost the screen. So we're going to have to wait a minute on the internet. But when you click on reports, it's going to give you several options. And there are some important reports that you're going to want to have. And while that's downloading, I can show you one. Are you seeing the multi-year trends for January for me? This is my actual production when I was in production, okay? And you pull this multi-year trends report and it's gonna tell you how many units you sold, okay? So my first year I sold 6 and then 19 and then 26 and a half, okay? Do you know how I sold half a house?
You split the commission with somebody?
I did. Very good. And then here is my closed sales volume. So there's the volume that I had year over year, and then the number of listings that I had. Okay, and the number of the amount of listing volume, my listings sold, my listing sold volume, my buy sales closed, volume, right? And then if I did any leases, the number of contracts that I wrote, okay? The volume of contracts that I wrote. Now, why would the contracts written volume and the closed volume be different? Sometimes you go under contract on something and it doesn't close, right? Happens to us occasionally. We have a mutual release, something happens. Here's the average sale price, okay? I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, so that's why my average sale price was a little bit lower than we normally use. My gross commission income every year. Okay, and then it decided it didn't want to show me that anymore. Okay. So anyways, that's your multi-year trends report. You're not going to have multi-year trends, but you saw that it broke that down on a month-by-month basis as well, right? All right, so now I can get to the reports. So you're going to find that here. There's the multi-year trends, okay? You can also pull your sales transaction detail. So this is going to be every one of your sales that's going to list here. Let's see if we can get that to open. See what else I want to open at the same time, and maybe I can not overtax the internet. Okay, here it comes. So here's the sales transaction, and it's going to give me the details on all of my transactions. So if you ever wondered, oh, what did I do this year? How much have I done so far this year? It's going to be all right here, right? And you're going to have access to that. So we also can do really awesome things. So I can look at rankings for the number of people that have their agent mobile downloads, and I can see how I'm doing with that. I can also see what the Yep. What the top associates are doing in the country. That's kind of fun to compare against. So you got that kind of information. Profit share and growth. I can go in here and I can look and see what my downline looks like for profit share. So this is passive income, right? This is money that you can get on the 21st of every month. Lakeisha's doing an awesome job. If you send people, and they don't have to be in your market center. Lakeisha's got somebody in Springfield, Ohio that we're trying to put with the productivity coach there to help out. So when she signs on, she would get that. So you can see who all is in your downline. So you can do that with your reports. Let's see what else is here that's helpful.
That was the downline for
profit share.
Okay. Okay.
Profit share, and then you go to my 7 level, and that will tell you. It'll also tell you what your profit share numbers are. So like your lifetime profit share earnings and all of that's going to be there as well.
Well, let me see yours.
Oh, it's not. I don't.
No, because I want an idea. What's the idea that that your potential that you can get from?
Well, mine's not good. So I've got to remember that I've only been a Keller Williams agent for 3 years, and most of my downline are brand new agents that haven't had production yet.
Okay.
I was wondering the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, it's not going to show. A good one to see would be Becky Gloves, and I don't think I have access to anyone else's.
Okay.
But there you go. Well, this gets you an idea. So there are 86,000 people in the company that make $500 or less.
Okay.
Look at this. There are 100 people that make more than $1 million.
Is that per year or?
That's lifetime.
Lifetime. Okay.
Oh, lifetime. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you just got to go in and play with them. I'm not well versed with the profit share ones. I only have to go in and look and see how many people I have in my downline.
Okay.
How many closings do they have to have before we start getting profit share?
1. So profit share is calculated, and it's a very complex formula that I have taken a class on, and I could not explain it to you, even though I've taken a class. But basically, it's this: the market center agrees to pay 48% of its profit every month to the agents that help the profit center grow. So if you sponsored an agent and that market center had profit, which they all do, they contributed to it. So the company dollar. So this is the percentage of your split that goes to your market center. So if you're on a 70-30 split, this is that 30%. The 48% of that 30% goes back to the agents. And it gets divided out. So it goes 7 levels. So my sponsor's in San Antonio, Texas, and her sponsor is also in San Antonio, Texas. So when I have production, Michelle Solis in San Antonio, Texas gets a little bit of it. And so does all the way up 7 levels. And they're probably all in San Antonio, Texas. Because that's
Is it how quarterly?
It's every month on the 21st of every month.
Okay.
And it's just direct deposit into your checking account. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
The most I've ever got is something like $28. But that was a free dinner.
I mean, that's $28 you didn't have.
And I didn't really do anything to get it.
I know that's right.
Well, I mean, if I saw $28 laying on the sidewalk, I'd bend over and pick it up.
I even crossed the street. I'd cross the street for a quarter. I'm telling you, I would.
But you know what? Oh, it's $28 today, and then tomorrow it can be higher. You know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere, though.
It does grow exponentially, but Becky Glove pays for her vacation every year with her profit share.
That's nice.
So that's what she does. She has a goal for herself. You could set a goal for yourself, by the way. And one of the best ways to do this is when you're sitting at the closing table and there's an agent on the other side that you've really enjoyed working with. You just simply say, you know what, I have loved working with you, and I would love to have my team leader give you a call and thank you for making this such an easy transaction. And then you just let your team leader know that, hey, I worked with this awesome agent, and would you give her a call? And the team leader will do all the recruiting. You do not have to recruit. All you have to do is hand off to your team leader. That's your team leader's job. And they will bring them onto the market center, and they will have them signed up as your sponsor. You sponsored them, and they will be in your profit share. especially if you get somebody that sells 20 or 30 transactions a year, you just immediately get your profit share going, right? So think on that. Okay, that was not what I planned to talk about today, but that was a good thing to talk about. All right, so you have your income summary, your sales transactions, your multi-year trends, your monthly production summary, so you can see where you are month over month. So go in here and look at these reports and go pull a few reports. And if you have any questions, again, this is a really good thing to come to me at 5 o'clock on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays, and we can talk about them. But because my reports aren't going to be very reflective for you guys, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew where they were so that you knew where you could get them. So you're tracking your pipeline numbers, right? Whether you're doing that inside of Command, or if you're doing that, if you're Shelly or Chelsea or Melissa, and you're doing that through Boomtown, or if you're doing it on a spreadsheet, you got to track your numbers. You got to know, you know, who's in my pipeline and what's my probable income and my potential income from that. But this is how we're going to track what we're doing and how we're staying on track. Because if we don't keep track of where we are, we aren't going to make it to our goals very well, are we? We are now at the end of February. Is that not stunning to you?
I know, time is just flying by.
You realize we are halfway through the first quarter, right?
Two-thirds through the first quarter.
2/3, you're right. 2/3 of the way through. We're halfway. We're somewhere. Yeah, we are moving along, and we are also, those of you in the 12-week program. We are now at the end of the 7th week of our 12-week program, so we're past halfway in 12 weeks. So think about your goals and think about where you are, and think about what your gap might be and what you need to do. Is it 1% better, or is it more than 1% better that you need to put in next week? All right. Anything else? Anybody? 2 things. Oh, I forgot 2 things. March. We are going to do March Madness, and this is going to start next Saturday. And we are going to have March Madness brackets, and we are going to do scripts, objections, and questions. Okay. So the questions, we're going to start with questions. That's a good place to go. These are questions that you can ask, right? Questions that you can ask to get information back. And we're going to see who can come up with the most questions. So we're going to do a round robin and see who can come up. That's not really going to be a bracket. And then we're going to start our script off bracket, just like the masters did at Family Reunion. So we're going to have some fun, and we're going to build skills. All right. I'll send you guys your at a glance. Don't forget your accountability form. If you're in the 12-week program, you know you got to do that every day and submit by Sunday for Friday. Otherwise, the rest of you should get your form. I put you on smart plans. Sorry. Using smart plans, I put you on smart plans. You may submit your form and then get a reminder that you need to submit it. That doesn't mean I didn't get it. It just means you sent it before the smart plan mailed you.
Thank you, because I need that reminder. Oh, okay. Let me put it in.
Hey, the reminder and the link. So you don't have to know where that you get the reminder and you get the link, so you don't have to search for the link.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Carla, I just had a question on the reports that you just pulled up. Can you just explain again why it would say that you closed half a unit? What was the reasoning?
Well, for me, the half of a unit would be because I shared that with another agent. For you, all of yours will show up as a half a unit because the other half belongs to your team leader or your rainmaker.
I got it. Okay, great. Thank you.
And there's probably a good chance, Chelsea, for you and Shelly, that your listings might be a little bit different, because a lot of times the listings are only recorded under the rainmaker.
Right.
So you might take a look at that. I'm not sure how that works out for your team.
Okay.
And Chelsea, if you end up having any questions about how that works, the best person to probably ask that of is Lisa in your market center.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. You guys have a fabulous Saturday. You can text me if you need anything. I might be a little delayed. I am, when I get done with exam study group today, I'm going to be packing. So I might be a little slower at getting back to you than normal. And then Monday afternoon, I will, I need to check that really quick. I'm not sure what time my flight lands on Monday. I will be on for open office hours. I may be from my phone on Monday, but I'll be there.
Thanks, Carla.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Sam, how many miles did you get? Oh, Pam already left. Dang, I wanted to know how many miles that you get in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Have a fabulous day, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.